Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Last Call. We're here. We're doing this thing tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to get into this card. It's a monster. A lot of hockey, a lot of college basketball. We got a 5-6 game NBA slate tonight as well. Lots of fun. Gonna get out there and get that cash. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Billy Brri in the house, sharing his looks, coming off a 3-1 last week and running it back. I'm excited. I got to see what his card looks like today. And in alignment, got a lot of things that we both like. And that's always a good time because Billy is red hot. And that means I'm going to try to get some of that cash that Billy's giving out to everybody tonight. Shout out everybody in this chat that made it up here early. Andrew G's here rocking with us. Justin rocking as well. He's got the stacks POD, says Florida State +3 for our guy Justin, looking to rebound and recover and put that cash in everybody's pocket. Justin, thank you so much for sharing your good hard looks, my guy. Ian Shaver, what up? What up, Ian? How are you, my guy, my homie in the chat rocking with us. Ron Lofton, Jay Smooth, Subhuman Gaucho, great night yesterday. Keep it up. Yeah, I'm excited to recap that one. That was a lot of fun. And we're going to do it again, my guy, Subhuman Gaucho. Appreciate you dropping in. Caddy Daddy, what up, Caddy Daddy? Welcome, my guy. The Futon Bets. Let's get this money and turn into a couch tonight. Yeah, man. Keith, my guy, Keith's out there. Says, let's go, Mike. You crushed it last night, Wizards. Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's continue. We got to go forward every day, one day at a time, one bet at a time, one time slot at a time. But it was a lot of fun last night. You know, unfortunately, the national championship with Washington kept us from a board sweep, but you know, it felt good regardless. There, we got some plays in there. You know, on the live stream, gave out that first half under. It was all right. You know, nothing spectacular. Got a couple of plus spots in there to kind of break even, but unfortunately, with the show, that was our L, and that stinks because I was so looking forward to seeing them do something. Man, I even had a live bet on that, or a same game prop bet there where I had each team to get 2 touchdowns, each team to get 2 field goals, and it was a +650 payout. Washington just couldn't get that second field goal. And shout out to Michigan. They showed it. They showed they're worth it. They showed they were worthy of getting it done. And they did not look back. They only had 10 completed passes, but that running game was beastly. And, you know, they gashed up Washington early with no response, no answers to it. So shout out to the Michigan Wolverines. They were burning couches last night, throwing riots in the streets and doing all the rest. But, hey, good for them. Good on them. And football, at least the college season's officially over. Of course, we've got the NFL rolling here. We've got a Monday night game next week between the Tampa Bay Bucks and our Philadelphia Eagles. So that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. But college football gone, NFL here, playoff time, and then we're going to transition to straight hoops and hockey, and that's going to be a lot of fun as well. So still got cash to make, though. We still got windows out there for hockey, or for football, rather. So we'll get that cash. We'll be all right. Director 97's in the house, says 3 college picks tonight. He likes Houston money line, Duke over 146, and Yale over 136 there. Like some overs. My guy, Director 97. Vincent Contreras, love the Loyola -2.5 spot for him out there. There's Al Cervic. Says, how are you, my old friend? Al Cervic, it's always good to see you, my guy. There's Mel. Mel says, you got that cash, and my team got the win. Let's go, Mel. Yeah, that was a tricky one. I mean, it was a 4-3 final. It was definitely anything but sweat-free, and we'll take the cash nonetheless. So all good stuff, all good stuff. Top Set says, hola, boys. Yeah, shout out our guy T back there on the 1s and 2s, getting it tight and right, doing the things that we do here to help everybody get that cash. And we're going to get that cash tonight. Ian Shaver says, went 8 and out yesterday. Not even happy because the bell curve exists. Jay Peasy, man, F Washington. Let's get it back tonight. Yeah, Jay Peasy, that was it was a fun game, but just not the outcome we wanted. I mean, you know, fun is fine, but want to get that cash, man. That's what we're here for, is to get that cash. And, as a dog, they finally were not able to come through them Washington Huskies. So you guys know what time it is here, 6 p.m. East Coast time, getting out of work, getting ready, getting home, getting dinner made up. Get that pen and paper out because we're going to rock tonight. We got a ton of plays and going to be some good stuff. So Fernando Mendoza says, Jazz, baby. Yeah, let's go. Let's get them Utah Jazz going here tonight. And you guys know what's up here. We ask you to do 3 things. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Getting on up in here should be common practice. Just get right in here and hit that like button. We need to get this thing promoted and grow. We're trying to take over the 6 p.m. time slot with YouTube. It's a cesspool of sleazy pickers, and we're certainly out there giving our plays, our best plays, our favorite plays, the plays that we're putting our money on, and that's what it's all about. Furthermore, we need you guys to get a pen and paper out. We're going to write down a ton of plays, not just that I share, the panel shares, but you guys in the chat continuing to get sharper every day. I appreciate you guys coming in with your best looks. And, you scrub the card well, and you come out here producing cash for everybody. So the third and last but not least, share your plays in the chat. Let's see what you guys are on out there. We see quite a bit already, and that certainly means a lot as everyone's trying to come home and figure out where they want to put their cash tonight. So I appreciate everybody that's rocking with us here, and it's been a lot of fun. We're cresting over that 30 unit mark. Finally, we were just talking about last week being that 500 week, and we popped off a 7-1. So we'll recap the card. Then we're going to jump into the NHL. We're going to jump into college basketball. We're starting to load up now. We're in conference play with college basketball. We're going to start seeing more college plays and better college plays. So, we want to get that cash, not just give you guys, some coin flipping spots here, but we want to give you the spots that we think are the best out there. And we've got some good analytics and data now behind them. And of course, the association. We got NBA plays tonight. We got a nice NBA card out there. And collectively between, college basketball and the NBA, not the biggest of cards, but a lot of great spots out there. So that should be a lot of fun to talk about when we get our guy Billy Brri in here. And shout out again, everybody. Clint Zerline says, Zerline, I hope I said that right, Clint. Rutgers, Indiana, under 140.5. In fact, Clint, I'm positive I didn't say it right. So I apologize, my guy. I hate when somebody says my last name wrong. So Al Cervic likes the Rams plus 3.5. Top set says parlay the Wild with everything. Matt, Wine Time. There's that guy, Wine Time, says, what up, brother? Good to see you, Wine Time. He slammed Iowa State money line at plus 125. Like to hear that. Looking forward to talking about that game with you guys. Tori Coker, running like, thanks, Tori. Good to see you, Tori Coker. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Caddy Daddy likes that Akron Ball State over 138, trying to get back into college basketball totals. Yeah, that's kind of been the thing that's been my Achilles heel with the college hoops is those totals. So I'm trying to kind of be a little more strategic and kind of see a little bit more about how these defenses are playing, especially when they travel. Now that we've got these conference games, we'll see how they travel and how they hold up. So hopefully that leads to more cash on totals. JPZ says, I haven't had time to look at anything today. Just blindly tailing your picks, even if it sounds funny. This will be interesting. Man, I got some picks. I'm really excited. This NHL card to me is extremely exciting here. I think there's a lot of opportunities to cash. I had a hard time it's a full NHL card, and I still had a hard time getting it. I was just on the fence about, do I cut a couple more? Do I add a couple more? I don't know, but there's a lot of spots in the NHL tonight that certainly lit up my my models and dashboard. So excited to give those out to you guys tonight. Mel says, Wine Time Sports, thoughts on Davidson minus 4.5. Not a play that I'm on, but I like that Davidson spot. Conference home favorites off a loss, I believe, was the angle out there. Ron Lofton says, on that Rutgers game under also. Top set says, fade the Blackhawks backups. Yeah, that's going to be a tough spot. A lot of big prices in the NHL tonight. 300s, 400s, 450s. I mean, I don't know. At some point, we got to get that break even, but let's go. JPZ says he's on Rutgers under 141. That's his only bet so far. Mel, I take Rhode Island, says Wine Time. Ron Lofton, love the under 6 in the Bruins game. Me too, Ron Lofton. Didn't make the official card, but late spot. So, as we cash and we stack, it'll be more money to put back in there. So, Wine Time didn't move on that Rhode Island game. Bo Jackson says, made 4K last night. My guy, Bo, what up? Might take a break tonight. Yeah. You don't want to give it back. You got to be calculated and strategic. It's all about trying to find that right angle that you want to pop out there and continue to stack it, right? That's always the challenge is after a big night. You got to be careful. You got to be conservative to some degree, but you know what? We're unloading the clip tonight. Again, a lot of spots that I'm excited about. And then I saw some of Billy's plays and that got me even more jacked up. So Lot of fun to go. You guys know how we do here. We're going to get this thing rolling. We're going to start with a recap. Transparency, most important thing that we have in this game. It's the only collateral that we have in this game. You know, day in and day out, coming out here showing you guys what we're doing and what we're playing. But how are they showing? And last night was a show. We went 7-1, as I mentioned. Should be a quick recap. We cashed Vancouver money line. That was a nice plus 125 spot. We cashed the Colorado Avalanche. It was a shootout, but we got a win nonetheless. And the Dallas under 6.5. Nice, easy win for us there as well. 4-0 final. Dallas under was, I think it was 0-0 in the first period. So always a good start when you're at zeros. Obviously, the Huskies, the Washington football plus 5.5 didn't get the job done. You know, guys, I was disappointed. I know it was kind of a house divided. We talked about that and joked about it. Shout out to everybody that had Michigan last night. And hope you got that cash. But Lamar was the only college basketball play we had. We got that minus 6.5. We got our parlay with the Bulls money line and Kobe White over 18.5 points. That was a plus 105 spot. The Washington Wizards plus 11.5. Kind of yo-yoed around that number, but for the most part, didn't fall outside of that number the entire game. So that was a nice win. And then the Clippers to close the card up, smoked them boys, and gave us that cash. So that's how you go 7-1 right there. Damn them Washington Huskies. I really wanted to get the sweep, but hey, you know what? We got another night to try it here. We'll go again. Real Deal Prime taking notes. My guy, Real Deal Prime in the house. The grinder ready to go tonight. His Buffalo Sabres in action tonight. No official plays for me on that one, but I will say this: Buffalo has never beat the Seattle Kraken in this situation. So interesting spot there tonight to see if they can go out there and figure out a way to get it done. Nasty Nate, my guy, Mr. Trifecta in the house is Bo. Let me get alone. My car just broke down on the highway. Oh no, Nasty Nate. It's got to be cold up there too. Man, oh man. Trampoline's in the house. Let's go. Says Pimp Slap. Real Deal Prime says Sabres money line. Take it right now. Minus 110. Not a bad spot for them Sabres on the money line tonight. Nathan Cerna, Circle of Trust. I took plus 7.5. Washington. Yeah, they got us all. Well, not all of us, right? I mean, a lot of you guys had the other side of things. So shout out to all you guys. Nasty Nate says Michigan first quarter, first half, and full game last night for our guy, Nasty Nate. I remember you saying it. I remember. Shout out. Congrats. You guys had the right look on that thing and should have listened a little better, I guess. But Joseph Thompson in the house. There he is. Coming in late tonight. Lost last night, and my best bet is Yale Brown over 137. You guys are doing a great job adding up them plays in the chat, showing us where that we should be pointing our cash. And shout out to Joseph Thompson, rocking and rolling. Caddy Daddy says, went over my tracker to see what I was doing right and wrong last year. 21-11 in college basketball totals last year. That Akron spot will be my first one this year. I like it, Caddy Daddy. Important to track, important to recognize where you're winning and where you're not as strong, if you will. So Nathan Cerna, like the Kraken. Jay Peasy says Sabres going for 3 in a row against a team they've never beat. I don't have those kind of balls. Blue numbers. Great night. Colorado, Dallas under 6.5. There's Dylon says, what's up, Mikey? Dylon, what's going on? My guy, Dylon. And then Nathan Cerna contemplating that play that Wine Time was sharing out there. So let's go. Ricky Levine's in the house says, what's cracking? Pimp Slap my plays. Kings, Senators, Canucks under 6.5. Hit the like button. Absolutely hit the like button, guys. You're all stacking in here. We're all getting ready to roll. We're going to jump into this card. You know, we got to keep a brisk pace. I liked yesterday, shutting it down a little bit earlier. We got the plays in and out. Not a lot of hyperbole. And we were able to kind of get everybody moving to jump back on the PSR live show and hear what the panel had assembled to cash last night. So I like that. We got to try to find a way to keep it moving quickly and not to sacrifice any of the quality of the detail that we want to share with you. But look, 7:30 show stops. It's tough for me to get involved. I end up missing the 7 o'clock window. So I don't want to have that happen. I don't want you guys to have that happen. The Futon Bet says Duke -5. Dylon says, everybody in the chat, what up? And there's Markel says, yo, let's go. You know what to do, Nathan, is what Wine Time Sports says here. So let's jump into it. Without further ado, I know we got our guy Billy rocking with us here. Big NHL card to break down and a lot of I think it's his hat, Nasty Nate, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. Ron Lofton says Seton Hall, first half -2.5. First action of the day. Man, them Seton Hall boys looking good, Ron Lofton. I like that look out there. David Dump says he likes Nebraska +7.5. We'll talk about that game. Indiana Rutgers under 141.5. Dylon says, I don't think you're ready for this jelly I'm about to drop tonight. Listen, man, I'm ready. I want all of it. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it out there. Let's get that cash. Nathan Cerna says thinking Kentucky -12 at home. Look, guys, here's the deal. You know the situation by now. Right-hand side, the games we're going to cover, you can see kind of where we're at in the process. If you missed a play, if you're coming in late, if you want to go back and recap and replay, then you can certainly take advantage there. At the top of the screen, you'll see the bets or the leans. A few more leans tonight than we've had in past shows. You know, we started out the season banging away with some leans and having a nice lean record. It's still a great lean record, but try to make more of those plays and less of those leans. And we found some success doing that. So we're going to go back to it. But of course, when we see some plays that just haven't quite gotten there, we're going to make our best to share those with you guys as well. But look, we're going to take the ice here. First game of the night, the LA Kings, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And it's kind of been a tough spot right now for the LA Kings, you know, currently on a nice little losing streak. And then some, they started out so red hot. You knew they were due to regress at some point. They're going back to Talbot. They're number one. They gave him the break the last game. Talbot struggling himself, 0-3-2 in his last 5 games. Vasilevsky on the other side of things came back from the lower body surgery, started out slow, started picking it back up, but he's rolling a .301 goals against average with an 89.5% save percentage. If you look at this thing, though, Talbot 0-3-2 his last 5 games. Started out the season kicking ass and taking names, 12-4-1. You've got a Tampa spot here where Tampa's lost 4 of their last 6. So kind of you got 2 strong powerhouse teams that have kind of fallen into the lulls of the January break or the January transition here as we kind of get towards midseason. And I expect both these teams will pick it back up and start moving in the right direction. Tonight, however, I expect it to be an LA King spot. Certainly motivated, and a couple of things to look for. Tuesday home dogs in the NHL, 3-10 spots. 3-10 for Tuesday home dogs in the NHL. They're losing by 1.62 goals a game. 3.4 to 1.8 is the average out there. And look, -108s, -110s, -120s. I still like the Kings. I don't necessarily care what the number is. I just think it's a great spot out there from a line shopping perspective. Away favorites that scored at least 1 power play goal their previous out are 86-35. Now, the thing about this is Tampa owns the LA Kings. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but 11-1 the Tampa Bay Lightning over the LA Kings, going all the way back to 2015. So this is a tough travel spot for sure, going all the way across the country, getting down in there to Florida, playing this Tampa Bay team. But I think we got this Tampa Bay team in a vulnerable position. Also, I kind of look at this, not to make a bet on a team being due, but in terms of kind of I call this model the their due factor. The LA Kings are shooting the puck. They had over 40 shots the last game. They had 41 shots on net. They just couldn't find the back of the net enough to win the game. When you've got a team that's on a losing streak of 2 or more games, that shot 40 plus times the previous game, that's a road favorite. They're 53-24 as well. Give me this LA Kings spot over this 2-4 Tampa Bay Lightning in their last 6 here. I think it's a great price. We got the starting goaltender. We got a team that's firing pucks. They're not absent of effort. They're just absent of finding the score. And I think tonight that's going to change. We're going to start this card out with the LA Kings. And we're going to move on to the next spot. Next spot everyone's been talking about, the Vancouver Canucks, the New York Islanders. We talked about this Canucks spot yesterday. Today is the fade spot for the Vancouver Canucks. We know these teams come across the country. They play that New Jersey, New York Rangers, New York Islanders triangle. The Canucks beat up the Devils. Big win for them. They exploded last night out there, 6-3 against the New York Rangers. Was also looking at that over in that game, but ultimately only took the Canucks at plus money. They got the job done. But they're going to DeSmith and net, Casey DeSmith. Now he's 6-3-2. Certainly not a letdown in any spot with this guy. 2.57 goals against average and a 91.4% save percentage. The other side of things, Sorokin in net for the Islanders, but struggling Sorokin. He's 12-7-8 on the season. He's got a 3.17 goals against average with a 90.9 save percentage. The challenge for Sorokin here, and this happens with a lot of these goaltenders where they have to go on these extended stretches. We saw this with, the Arizona Coyotes. Varlamov's out right now for the Islanders, and that means that Sorokin's going for his 7th game in the last 8 performances for the New York Islanders. Guy that they've had to go to quite a bit. 3-3-1 in his last 7. And he's let 4 more goals in 4 of those 7 games. He's kind of struggling right now with that 89.2% save percentage. But here's the deal with this back end of a back-to-back spot We're going to fade the restless road dog. It's a 4.44 to 2.03 record. It's 8-1 in its last 9 games. Fading the restless dog. Also, when the Canucks are on the road playing an Eastern Conference team, they're only 16-24. So, they've won 5 of their last 6, but the overarching strategy or the overarching trend in there shows that they're going to lose more than they're going to win. And the fact that they've piled up 5 of their last 6 is a great spot. Home favorites that are off a loss that went over, New York Islanders in this case, 21-7 in those games that they come back here. And then last but not least is the rest advantage. When the Islanders have a 2-day rest advantage and they're lined between -120 and -170, they're 50-23. So I think this is an opportunity here for us to take advantage of this Vancouver team who has been red hot, but it's a bounce back spot with tired legs to go out there after kind of shooting their load and scoring 6 goals out there. I want this New York Islanders team. I know a lot of folks are on it. The over was the other thought that I had out there. The Islanders are an under team. We know that that's how they want to play hockey, but a lot of strength in this over number. When you've got that back from Vegas situation, we've talked about this before. You'll hear me talk about it again. For whatever reason, when teams are a home team now after playing in Las Vegas their last game, 25-5 to the over, as long as the number's not a 7. So strength of that over. I also mentioned that spot for the Vancouver Canucks when they're on the road against the East. They're 38-2 to the over, 3.4 to 3.8 in the average on those goals. I just didn't want to get there from a spot where, DeSmith coming out here, playing pretty good hockey is a spot where I said, okay, well, I think it's going to probably be one of those 3-2, 4-2 type of games out there. We need Sorokin and we need the Islanders to come through and hold down this Vancouver firepower. But at -120, great spot to get it rolling. And Lessman says, now my Canucks, LOL, going to sweep these New York teams. Hey, maybe they do, but Islanders win money line -120 is where it's at for us, Nathan Cerna. So David Burns, isn't that a crazy stat? The Vegas, when a team's home after a Vegas trip, 25-5 to the over. And if you stretch it out since Vegas got into history, I want to say it's like 38-9. So that's an impressive trend that's going on here. This is just the last 2 seasons kind of compiled together. So very interesting to see those spots, but I love this intersection here between the restless road dog, in the fact that Vancouver's on that second of back-to-backs. And then the Islanders, when they have that 2-day rest, the advantage is 50-23. So we're going to intersect there. We're going to try to exploit this red-hot Vancouver team with the New York Islanders, and we're going to keep it rolling. Got to keep this brisk pace moving here. We got to pick up the pace, surprisingly enough. Let's keep it going. Let's talk about this next game. Florida Panthers, St. Louis Blues. We got Stallers in goal, not SpongeBob, not Bobrovsky. Stallers, 5-3-1. Hofer on the other side at 7-6. Florida's red hot right now. You want to get in front of these guys with a team like St. Louis that can't score? I do not. 7-game win streak going on for Florida right now. They're outscoring opponents 22-7 over their last 4 games. They're banging the puck in the net. They can't stop scoring here. St. Louis, only 3 goals in their last 2 games. That's a total, only 3. Now, they won both those games, which is impressive to me because it just shows that their goaltending was able to be a standout performer. But that's Binnington. That's not Hofer. So we got this goalie switcheroo out there. And, Stoller's last performance was December 20th. So he's had a good, healthy break. He's had plenty of time to sit on the bench behind Bobrovsky. And he hasn't had to go in there in relief assignments either. So it's a true rest position because Bobrovsky's been so phenomenal. Stoller's December 20th, 4-1 win over Montreal. He saved 18 and 19 pucks. That was a 94.7 save percentage. He's allowed less than 3 in his last 3, and they're 2-1 in those spots. So I think, again, we see a low-scoring St. Louis team. The coup de grace for me on this one, the Florida revenge spot. You guys have heard me talk about it. When you're a home favorite, lost, now you're a road favorite, 527 and 273. It's cashed 5 in a row. It's cashed 9 of its last 10, and we've been cashing all along the way. So the revenge factor is in play and lit up for this one. I went Florida -1. We're not seeing a lot of overtimes in these games, so I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to consider the regulation in these revenge spots. But I just like that -1 for the opportunity to catch the push. It's a little pricier out there. You can catch the regulation at like -105, but I just want to have this spot kind of in my back pocket out there. Last but not least, when you're hosting the Rangers the next game and you're a home dog, you're 4-26. What's up, Declan? Good to see you out there, right? So we track some of these teams and these trends that are going on out there. And when you're hosting the Rangers next and you're currently a home dog, it's a traditional look-ahead spot. You're 4-26. against a red-hot Florida team right now. I locked down that -1 at -130. I debated the -1. I debated the full puck line in this thing to really get a nice price on it, but I don't know. I just thought risk reward. The average margin in these spots is around a goal. Now that home hosting the Rangers next in the home dog spot's 1.6, but I wanted to jump in. I took the Florida Panthers. I got the -1. Let's keep it rolling here. We got a lot more to cover, and we're running tight on time already. So let's go. Keep it a brisk pace out there. Mel says Florida's scary good. I just hate fading the Blues as a home dog. Yeah, I kind of thought about that as well. But this is the first play that I made on the day. When I first saw the card and I first saw the opportunity, that revenge factor has been hot, and you got a red-hot team right now in Florida, so I think we can get a nice price here. Florida jacked up to -190. Yeah, that's the money line, right? So you want to take a look at trying to find a way to get that -1. There's a -1 calculator that's out there, but essentially the deal is, for however much you're going to win with the money line, that's how much you play the -1.5, and that's essentially going to find more or less that's going to get you guys to that -1 calculator. So I know Caesars has -1s out there, kind of pre-baked, and a couple other sites do as well. But let's keep rolling. Let's go. We got Columbus and the Winnipeg Jets. Speaking of red hot teams right now, yeah, you're not mistaken. I'm taking this Columbus Blue Jackets team at +215 right now. You're good, Taiwan. Brisk face, buddy. Yeah, we want to keep it going here. But we got the boys coming on at 8 o'clock, so we can't be running into their time there. They got red hot NFL cappers right now. That's going to be a great show with Jimmy the Bag and Troy Torrance out there. Troy's up like 50 units this year in NFL, man. The guy's kicking ass and taking names. So make sure you guys go and check that show out here. Caddy Daddy says NHL play for today. St. Louis, no gift, plus Columbus, no gift, +102. I'm not sure if that is that no goal. Is that what that means? Is that what no gift means? I'm not sure. So anyhow, let's talk about this game. Columbus, not a big fan of the fact that Tarasov's going in goal, but what are they going to do? They got nobody else to really put in goal. He's going for his third start. He is trying to rebound off a 4-3 loss to Minnesota. However, in his last 4 games, he's 1-0-2. That's a big number factor because that shows that, yeah, they're getting points. The team's fighting, and it's not from his lack of effort. He's 92.5% saving. On the other side of things, Hellebuck in goal. One of the best in the league out there. Winnipeg has won 6 games in a row. They vaulted up to the top of the Western Conference. They're now the #1 team out there. But what happens in those spots is you get that target on your back, and I think that's very much what's happening here with Columbus. They know they're West Conference team. They know they're red hot right now, and they're not going to be scared of the challenge. They're going to be ready to go. Hellebuck, less than 3 goals in 16 of 17 games, 13-2-2 at 93.9%. That's pretty phenomenal, right? I mean, there's no question about it. #1 status in the NHL, and it makes sense that you see them become that #1 team in the Western Conference. Columbus certainly is going to have their work cut out for them in a scoring perspective, but I kind of look at this Winnipeg team as like, hey, it's just enough to get the job done. So Columbus, 3 goals or less in their last 4. They're 1-1-2 in those spots. But here's what kind of pushed me over the line, and I've got 2 spots that kind of fit not this exact criteria, but 2 spots that are nice plus money spots. And I want to get them both, but I'm expecting that we're going to get at least one of them, and then we're going to have plus money regardless between the 2 of them. So if you're going to play Columbus, you got to play the other one that I'm going to give you guys here. The home favorites after playing the Coyotes are 0-8. They're losing by 2.62 goals a game. I tempted to take that Columbus -1.5. It's almost +400 out there on some of the books out there with Columbus -1.5. But I thought, you know what? Give me the +215. I think that's good money. Home favorites after playing the Coyotes. Red hot. Winnipeg's not going to win them all. And this is kind of a little letdown spot, I think. Columbus coming into town. They're not world beaters, but they do have strong goaltending performance out there. And we know Winnipeg's kind of playing that just enough to get the job done type of hockey right now. So, we got a 2-2 game going into the third period. We see overtime, and there's an opportunity for Columbus to slip that puck in the net. Hey, the +1.5 also available out there at, I think it was around an even money spot, but give me the score, give me the 215, and let's talk about this Anaheim-Nashville game. We've got Dostal and Saros in goal. Dostal for Anaheim, 6-9-1. Saros, 16-14-1. And look, we've been talking about this Anaheim Ducks team. They just don't score. This is a pretty simple spot for me from a cap perspective. Nashville kind of plays that same thing as well, just enough to get the job done. When you got a dog that's playing after they either played Dallas, Toronto, Detroit, or San Jose, are 18, 45, and 4 to the under, and it's going under by almost a goal and a quarter, 2.4 to 2.9. We got this under 6.5 spot out there. I don't expect Anaheim to score. I do expect Nashville to keep some of those pucks out of the net. And if it's flip-flopped and we get a 4-1 game where Anaheim wins as the dog, then that's fine. But I want this Nashville under 6.5 spot for me, and we're going to keep it moving. So, again, dogs after playing Dallas, Toronto, Detroit, or San Jose. They're 26-41, so it's not necessarily a strengthened spot for the Anaheim Ducks. But 18, 45, and 4 to the under. That's good enough for me to say. I've seen enough Ducks games to know this under. Plus, you may not be aware, there was a big trade that was just made for the Anaheim Ducks, sending a defender out to Philadelphia for a scrub piece of shit that doesn't want to play for the Philadelphia Flyers organization. Too bad, too, because he was the #1 goal scorer in the World Junior Tournament for Team USA. Said all the right things, got drafted, his mother's from Philly, and all this and that. And then he just decides not to return phone calls. Cowardice shit. But anyhow, let's keep going. I don't want to get distracted. I'm going to give you guys the lean in this next game. I couldn't quite get there. Couldn't quite make the cutting room floor for me either, though. So it's not something I want to totally dismiss. I'm going to have to circle back and keep my eyes on it. It's Ottawa-Calgary. Ottawa's got Korpisalo in goal at 7-13. Calgary's throwing Markstrom in goal, 10-11-2. We talked about Markstrom. You guys should remember there. He had the finger surgery, right? He fractured his finger. He had to get that fixed up and tightened up. Since he's come back from the finger surgery, he's 93.5% save percentage. He's crushing it out there right now. On the other side of things, you've got a team in Ottawa that's been outscored 13-5 in some spots right now. Not a good situation. Calgary does have back-to-back losses. They just lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. Very disappointing spot. Overpriced probably. Take a 4-3 loss. They lost the game before that. But Korpisalo, 1 win in his last 9 starts. He's let 4 or more goals in 6 of those games, and he's running down an 86.7% save percentage. You guys, we talked about this one last night. This is why we took Colorado. When you got the Western Conference team hosting an Eastern Conference team, and you're line between -120 and -170, you're 28-9, and you're winning by 1.43 goals on average. Great spot, I believe, for this Calgary Flames. Also, in that same elk, when you're -118 to -150, you're off a loss that went over 4-3 in that Chicago spot. 28-11 winning those games by just over a goal as well. So low price for Calgary, I think, to get the ship right against the suspect Ottawa team that, lots of changes going on in Ottawa, but not a spot that we want to take advantage of. So we're going to look at that Calgary as a lean. And then last but not least, Eric Jones likes that Calgary under. I was thinking about that as well. Glad it's a lean. Flames get none of my money. Yeah, I was kind of there too. Eric Jones says Nashville 4-11 under spot. Mike also Ducks 2-8 to the under. Love it. Love it, Eric Jones. Love when we're starting to align on some of those things. And then last but not least, I'm going to this Boston and Arizona game here. Difficult spot, I think, for Boston. Tricky little scheduling spot. They're starting Allmark in goal, 13-5-2. He's been having a tremendous season. Ingram on the other side. We know Ingram went through that little bump in the road, right? He kind of caught the bump there. He started like 8 straight games. He kind of ruined they ran the tread off the tires. But he's only in his 3rd season in the NHL, which means he should be able to bounce back. And he has started to bounce back. In fact, this guy's got 4 shutouts on the season. I thought that I don't usually write down the shutout numbers. You guys don't usually hear me talk about the shutout numbers, but 4 shutouts in a row, or not in a row, but in a season is pretty impressive considering the season's really just started. That young man's going to have a lot of promise as he moves forward. But he's, again, only in his 3rd season. Boston takes that 4-3 loss to Colorado in a shootout. Boston scores a ton of goals. They're 10th in the NHL in scoring with 3.37 goals. But great opportunity here. When the Bruins are on the road after a loss with no rest, they're 5-18-2 to the under. They're not scoring a lot of goals. So somebody out there I think it was Dylon was saying, I like that under in this game. Strong under spot. I almost got there. We're seeing 2.4 to 2.4. As long as the total's 6, it's 0-6 to the under. If it's 6.5, it's 5-18-2. This number's sitting on 6, suggesting, again, a lower scoring game. Seattle, when they're home and they're going against an unrested opponent, AKA on the second leg of a back-to-back Boston Bruins. I'm sorry, I wrote Seattle. I meant Arizona. Arizona home versus unrested opponent, 9-0 in those spots. 9-0. So we have an 0-8 spot that we're fading away and we're jumping on Columbus. We have a 9-0 spot. We're taking this Arizona Coyotes at plus 140. It's also 2-7 to the under. So there's another suggestion for the under. When you have a team that's off an overtime loss that has no rest, and they're between -119 and -141, they're 17-42, losing a lot of those games. The Bruins, tricky spot. When the Bruins are a favorite after a loss, they're 25-43 to the under as well. I really thought long and hard about this under, but I ultimately pulled the trigger on this Arizona Coyotes at plus 140 spot. So Dylon says over 5.5 is plus 125. Yotes down to plus 129. Huh? Let me just take a peek. Let me take a peek. I don't want to. It feels like my system's running pretty smooth right now. I don't want to screw that up, but we'll give our guest a second to get ready backstage, and then we'll transition over to the hardwood. There's Sean Higgs. Look at our guy, Sean Higgs, dropping a big dono out there off of Monster last night as well. Thanks, Sean Higgs. $116 dono for the 11-6 Eagles, second place finish, and the 116 people watching. Hit the like button, clowns. Yeah, you tell him, Sean Higgs, my guy, Sean Higgs. Man, I appreciate you, Sean. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and hang out on these live streams, learning strategies and angles from you and combining the two together. I love seeing the prop plays that you send me as well. So, Sean Higgs, you're a man, dude. You're a real man to the people, good friend, and excited to continue to work with you as we move forward. So really very much appreciate that. Right now, I'm seeing plus 136 on DraftKings is the new number out there. So Arizona's no longer plus 140. That's going to be the kind of angle that we want to see. We want to see this dog catching a little steam. Home dog here. Give me the home dog, Arizona Coyotes plus 136. And let's get on to the hardwood here. You guys have been patient enough. We just cracked down a huge NHL card, and we're going to bring on our next guest. He's the Tuesday centerpiece of what we're doing here with Last Call. And he came off a big week last week, 3-1. He's ready to roll him up and run him back tonight. You guys know him. You love him. You see him with his MMA content. I know he's excited that the MMA is back this weekend, UFC on the docket for Saturday. But we got him tonight. It's Tuesday. It's Last Call with Billy Brri.
What up, though?
What up, though? My guy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Do you want to do NBA or college first? Because the one NBA spot that I have goes off in like 20 minutes.
All right, well let's start with that one then. Give us that play here to kick it off, and then we'll circle back. But we do have 6 games for college basketball with some 7:00 starts as well. So let's start. Well, you know what? Let's go. Let's fly through this college basketball. Let's go. We can get this done here. We can get this done. We've got a couple 7:00 starts, and then we'll be able to roll into this thing. But we got this first play up on deck, and I'll give you guys the quick rundown. We'll just keep a brisk pace is the name of the game. Billy brisk pace Briz. Let's go. We're going to talk about this one here. First and foremost, I'm looking at this Texas-Cincinnati game. Cincinnati -4, 47% of the bets, 45% of the cash on Texas. And yet they're giving them, some more money as well. Plus 5.5 now are getting out there. So, I looked at the total on this game, 146.5 down to 145.5. 56% of the bets, 44% of the cash on the over. Yet it's dropping. And then we look at the money line. Yeah, we got the -162 now, -200. Billy, I don't know if you had a chance to look at this game. I know you got a card out there, so we'll jump in and spend time there. But look, Cincinnati coming off a big BYU road upset out there. This is the Vegas no spot. We cashed on this Vegas no spot with, I want to say it was UConn and I don't remember the other team. It was about a month ago. Unranked favorites when they got less than 5 days of rest, and it's not a neutral site, right? So this team here in this case with Cincinnati being at home is the old Vegas no spot. It's 176 to 112 overall. They're winning these games by just about 5 points. Against the margin. So should be a win opportunity for the Cincinnati Bearcats tonight. It's the Vegas no spot for me. Situation where, I don't think that Texas is a really good defending team. You look out there and what they do with their boards and they kind of get sloppy when it comes to kind of catching those rebounds. I think it opens up second chance spots out there. Again, it's the Vegas nose trend. Unranked favorites on a non-neutral court, 176 to 112, Billy. Would you be surprised to see Cincinnati come out?
I'm not a big fan of Texas, to be honest with you. And then Cincinnati, I watched that whole entire game against BYU, and they definitely look good.
Gotcha. Well, we'll keep it rolling. Brisk pace here. We're going to go to the next game on the card here. I'm looking at Houston and Iowa State. I saw some folks in, I think it was our guy Winetime, loves that Iowa State spot out there. We've got an interesting look with this game. Iowa State opens up 53% of the bets, 42% of the cash on the Houston side of things. So sharper money, bigger money coming in on this Iowa State side. The line opens at 4.5, has dropped now. So we've got money coming in on this home dog. And I think for rightful purpose, 131.5 is the back number, 77% of the bets, but only 41% of the cash on the under has dropped. So they are showing, that public number does concern them a little bit. We know Houston has the propensity to play slow ball and slow everybody down, but we'll get short, sweet, and to the point. We'll just keep this thing rolling. We know the situation. Houston, lone unbeaten team left in college basketball. When Iowa goes out there and plays a team that's on an 8-game or bigger win streak, they're 6-0 against the spread. Great opportunity to get the cover in this thing here. I'm not mad at Wine Time's money line spot out there too. I think it's going to be a tight game. We'll see it probably come down to the last bucket, regardless of who's got, whoever carries the ball at the last second, I think is the one that comes out with the win. But, just in the spirit of keeping things going, short, sweet, simple. We got the cash coming in. The line has dropped though. And let's see what the current number that we can get out there is for this game. We see, says there's still a 4. Says there's still a 4 on DraftKings. So, Billy, I'm gonna tee you up for this next game because you are on deck with this Richmond Loyola spot, and then I'm just gonna jump into DraftKings and see if that's still the case. If not, there's 2.5s that are out there. But I know what we've got going and rocking here. Great game. I was excited when I saw your action with this one because I've seen a lot of folks kind of talking about one side of this thing here, and I'm not sure if that's the angle that you want to go get paid on with this one. And in fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. So let's talk about this game. Let me pull it up. Let me get the numbers on the screen. We've got Richmond, the itsy bitsy Spiders open at 2.5, now 3s, 63% of the bets and 35% of the cash on the Richmond side of things, with really not a ton of movement. On the other side of this thing, you got back number at 137.5. Up to 139s right now, 50% of the bets and 85% of the cash on this over. And it's clicking in that direction, Billy. So take it away. Tell us how you want to get paid here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Loyola Chicago here. Back in Mr. Valentine tonight. We're taking it on the money line. I don't mind the -2.5. This is just a fade of Richmond on the road. The Loyola Chicago, they're 8-1 straight up at home, 4-game winning streak, and they seem to turn the corner. It's not the same exact team that started off that Barstool Classic and got blown out by FAU. They played well offensively at home, scoring more than 72 points per game, making 71% of their free throws, and they rebound the ball well offensively and defensively. Richmond, they've really struggled on the road, giving up 73 points per game, and I feel like the market is somewhat overvaluing their 4-game winning streak. They're 0-3 in all 3 of their true road games, scoring less than 70 points, 1-5 straight up away from home. And Heinz, Broadview version, 2-13 ATS last 15 road games. This season, +4.5 at Boston University, 7-point loss, +3.5 at Wichita State, 12-point loss, and then at Northern Iowa, that was a 5-point loss. And I think it's just a potential letdown spot. They had a big win over the weekend. It could be a look-ahead spot towards this weekend because they play George Mason, the best team in this conference, in my opinion. They're 13-2 this year. And bad sandwich spot like Loyola Chicago here.
Yeah, I was fond of that play when you sent it, so I got excited when I saw that out there. And I see what you're saying now, though, as far as the time slot and the windows there. I had a couple 7 o'clock college basketball. So, T, if we could just kind of pivot on the fly and jump into a little NBA next, we'll come back to these other games because they do start at 8 p.m. or later East Coast, and we've got some 7 p.m. NBA out there. So, little pivot on the fly for last call to give you guys that last-minute information and last-minute information we have. So, we do have 2 7 p.m. NBA games to kick this thing off with. First and foremost, we'll start with we'll see what we'll start with here. We'll start with I'll say we'll start with the Timberwolves and the Magic. We'll see if that's what our guys got there on the screen for us. Yeah, there we go. We got it. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Orlando Magic. Again, 7 p.m. start, guys. So we're gonna just pivot a little out of rotation just to make sure that we give you guys enough time to consider this game as well. We want to hear what Billy has to say. And we opened up at -4.5. 5s and 5.5s out there now. 75% of the bets, 80% of the cash on the T-Wolves. The number opens at 222.5, now down to 216.5, 83% of the bets, 78% of the cash on the over, Billy. Tell us how you want to get paid.
Yeah, I like the T-Wolves here. I know that number just moved a little bit. Still out regardless. I would take it at the 5. This is a 3rd game and 4-game road trip and a front end of a back-to-back, but I like this as a bounce-back spot here versus the Magic. The T-Wolves, they won 8 out of their last 9 games following a loss. Orlando, they've been playing well despite their injuries, but I think it's all going to eventually catch up. They had a couple of good performances. I think it was Houston, their rookie. He had a career high in their last game, but I feel like they're due to regress here. I think Panchero goes under his PRA, and if he goes under his PRA, that doesn't bode well here for the Magic. And the Magic also could be a little look-ahead spot. They play cross-state rivals Miami to start off their weekend road trip. And Minnesota's first in defensive rating in the NBA, and I think their size is going to be a huge factor here versus Orlando. Orlando's one of the teams I think is going to be due to regress, so I'm on Minnesota tonight. That was the only NBA spread bet I took tonight.
I like that Minnesota spot. I was contemplating that over. I saw some strong looks on the over. Ultimately, it didn't make my card because the cash flow just kind of got in my head a little bit there. It's dropped now to 216.5, though. Wouldn't be a bad spot to jump in on that either. But I like that Minnesota T-Wolves spot quite a bit. I know Orlando, strong team, home team. But I like your look there. I like the Minnesota. We got -5 out there, so a half a point movement. But you're not sweating that half a point. You're rocking with it. Let's roll into the second game in the NBA. The next 7 p.m. start we've got out there. Sacramento Kings and the Detroit Pistons. Number opens at -8. I'm sorry, -10. We got 11s out there now. 73% of the bets, 76% of the cash. Just as I say that, we're now starting to see 10.5s out there. 242.5, the back number, now 239s. 53% of the bets, 89% of the cash on the underbelly. And the number's dropping. The books are showing a little concern on that total out there. What do you think?
Yeah, I ended up putting a little same game parlay sitting back here, waiting for the segment to come up. A little plus 902 5-leg parlay. And the 5-leg parlay is the under 242, Killian Hayes over 5.5 assists, Kevin Knox under 3.5 rebounds, Jaden Ivey over 1.5 3-pointers, Domantas Sabonis under a triple-double. They ended up giving me the odds on that one. I kind of liked his under his points, but then that line ended up moving a little bit. The spread's kind of making me just lean towards the under in general, especially with Cade being out for this one. I think the easiest way to cash an under is by just a blowout. And without Cade, the pace of play for the Pistons is going to be pretty slow. And they struggle defending the pick and roll. And I feel like Jalen Duren's really been the only bright spot for this team. Bogdanovich has been, quote unquote, getting too many minutes. So he's probably going to be limited a little bit of minutes, even with Cade being out. So they're going deep on the bench with the Pistons. And that doesn't really bode well. That sounds like they might get blown out. But 11.5 is a lot of points, though. But Sabonis is going under his point prop, 25 out of his last 35 games. But the one that I really like as a straight bet, not plus monies anymore. I think it's like even odds. Jaden Ivey over 1.5 3-pointers. Without Cade, he should see a lot of the usage. He's gone over his 3-point prop in 14 straight games without Cade Cunningham. And he's coming off a horrible shooting performance against Denver. He shot 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. But the Kings allow opponents to shoot 38.5% from the 3-point line. And Ivy has averaged 6.7 3-pointers attempted over his last 15 games without Cade Cunningham. So he's going to be the big vocal part of the Pistons.
Well, so give me the same game again. I got the under 242.
Killian Hayes over 5.5 assists. Kevin Knox under 3.5 rebounds. Jaden Ivey over 1.5 3-pointers. And the last one, I can't believe they gave me the odds on this. Under Domantas Sabonis, triple-double. Plus 902.
Nice. I want to make sure I get that in there. Yeah, I was leaning to this. I was leaning to the point side of things here. You know, Sacramento, when they're double-digit favorites, they're 1-2 in their last 3 against the spread. So not a strong spot. I think it's a plug your nose and take a whack at this thing here. It's gonna be a spot that I do end up adding, especially now seeing that last movement now ticking back away. All that cash on the Kings, and it's still starting to drop. We're starting to see, in fact, just again, sharp money looks like it's coming in and pushing this thing. So I'm gonna add that 11 on my card. I'm gonna go with an official ad. We know what that does for me. I'm gonna have to get that thing plugged in, but I'm I'm going to jump there. I'm going to take that plus 11 and make that an official show ad. I love the same game parlay. Plus 902. We got ourselves looking on this one. Let's keep rolling with the NBA. We've only got 3 more games on the NBA, and then we can transition back over to college hoops. We've got Portland, the Blazers, and the Knicks going on tonight. The old Knickerbockers in the short pants. Portland opens up at 11.5. Now we're seeing 12s and 12.5s. 83% of the bets, 88% of the cash on the Knicks, and the numbers are moving accordingly. 228's the opening number. 229.5's out there, but it's kind of all over the place right now. 80% of the bets and 92% of the cash. This is a 7:30 Eastern start at Madison Square Garden. Billy, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, this was a game I ended up just staying off. I thought a weird scheduling spot for the Knicks, to be honest with you. But the trends and everything were telling me that this is a Knicks spot, and it kind of explained why it's 12.5. The Knicks have smashed bad teams. They're 10-2 ATS first bottom 10 point differential teams, and that's the Blazers. And this is a weird trend that I ended up finding throughout my research today. Teams after facing the Brooklyn Nets are 12-23 ATS, covering only 34% of their games. So, definitely a Knicks spot.
We've played that angle twice now. We played it on Friday with Minnesota, and we played it yesterday with the Wizards, and we cashed on both of those as well. So that Nets, the former team against the Nets. I love hearing that. I got excited when you said that. Also, you got home favorites when the totals between 222 and 231. After the game went under the previous are 24-8 out there, winning those games by almost 4 points in margin. With hefty number out there. I get that with this spot here, but you said it. The Knicks beat up on bad teams, and this number continues to take that steam right now. So I can't get the 11.5 anymore that I did when I put the show together, but we're at 12s, and again, half point's not going to phase me. I love hearing that Nets angle. I literally wrote that down, and it's also 23 and 13 to the over. So we're seeing a lot of points get scored in those games after a Brooklyn Nets spot. But the bright lights of the Garden, I think the Knicks can come in there and handle things here. Ever since the trade's gone down, they're making some pretty good moves. So, I love the spot there. They got OG out of Toronto. They bring him into the Knicks, got rid of quickly. And, that kind of hurt. That's hurt on the Toronto side. Scotty Barnes more. I'll talk about that in a minute. But, from a Knicks perspective, they're out there running and gunning. So I'm locking down the Knicks minus 12. That'll be an official play. Let's go to this Memphis-Dallas game. Next game on the card for us in the NBA. And we've got a little look here. We've got, let's see, the numbers open up. Grizz +5. We know, of course, Ja out now, right? What was it? Is it hand surgery that he's having? Season-ending hand surgery? I don't know what he's got going on there. Maybe it's I don't want to.
I don't even. This game is even. Right?
Shoulder.
There we go, T. 90% of the bets, 93% of the cash on the Mavericks. Tricky spot. I mean, the big number move. What we know about the Grizzlies, they were fucking terrible when they didn't have Ja Morant. Then Ja comes in. They started playing better. And so 236.5 is where the number opens up. 234.5's out there now. 66% of the bets, 73% of the cash on the over, expecting points. Yet the number's dropping. And we just had a monster move in this case to Dallas. And again, I think it's specifically because of that situation with the Ja Morant factor, right? That's just, I mean, if you want to ask if this guy's worth that many points, I think he is. But any thoughts on this game, Billy?
This is a game that you probably shouldn't be betting on, and I really wouldn't want to put Dallas in the parlays either. So it's like a double pass for me. I can't even find the prop, but if there was a prop I would take in this game, it would probably be Luke Kennard over 2.5 3-pointers.
I was just looking at this points. Everybody pressing on this over, and it's fallen. And I think it's fallen for a reason. JPZ says he hates unders. I'm not. I don't like to look around, and I probably won't watch this game. It probably won't make the big screen for me. But Dallas Mavericks are 8-0 to the under at home when they're following a spread win as a home dog, and they're smoking the under by 15.5 points in that spot. The Grizzlies 17-0 to the under when they're on the road against conference opponents that average 43 or more field goals the previous, and the total's greater than their previous total, smoking that number by 12.5 points as well. So a lot of you got everybody pounding on this over. We know Morant's out, one of their key scorers out there. And I got the numbers falling. We got intersecting zeros for this under. Maybe it's too easy to be true. Maybe it's too good to be true. But JP's saying there's a 235 out there. Let me just take a peek. Let me take a peek. There are 235s at minus 108s, 235.5s at minus 112. I'll take the 235.5. I'll take 235.5 at minus 112. I'll pay up a couple of cents for it because I want that hook in my back pocket. So let's let's roll. Last game on the card here. I like the look you have here. We're going to look at this Toronto Raptors. We're going to look at the LA Lakers. This line opened at 5. Haven't seen a ton of movement. There was a little 4.5 action out there earlier today. I guess there still is. So depending on the side you're looking for, maybe do some line shopping. 58% of the bets, 63% of the cash on the Raptors, and marginal movement. 230.5 is where the number opened up. 79% of the bets, 97% of the cash on the over, and it shot up 6 points to 236.5. Billy, take us home in the NBA. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, man. I don't know if I can go to the window with Toronto. Everybody looks at the last result. I ended up getting burned on the other side, but they smoked the Warriors on this road trip. But Jakopoel's not playing. I swear to God, everybody in the chat, name to me right now 2 setters on the Toronto Raptors that are going to be available for them tonight. And I bet you can't. Precious is not on that team anymore, and that is a huge problem. Chris Boucher is probably going to be their projected starting center with backup Jante Porter, and that's all the big guys that they have tonight. They might, if Anthony Davis feels like playing the game of basketball tonight, he might absolutely smoke the Toronto Raptors by himself. Chris Boucher weighs 50 pounds less than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis could just absolutely smash in this game. That's the analysis on this one. And if Anthony Davis is going for fucking 40 and 20, I mean, I hope the Lakers got the W. Like, literally, I can't see anybody guarding Anthony Davis in this game, even if they put Pascal Siakam at the 5. Like, Anthony Davis is how much taller than Pascal Siakam? I don't know, man. The more and more I think about, when I think about the number, you would lean towards Toronto, but when I actually think about real life basketball, Toronto Raptors does not have the bigs without Jakob. They're not done before the trade deadline. Trade deadline's like a month away, and they're probably going to have to trade for some backup big men. They're talking about Thaddeus Young might start. I didn't even know dude was still in the league.
Yeah. I see our guy Marcus McCarthy says 4th road game in a row for the Raptors. Bad spot. Lakers get it done. Caddy Daddy says AD likes to look with you on Anthony Davis over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Mike says Lakers parlay spot. Jay's final take, but AD so soft, bro. Yeah, we know he's Charmin soft, but look, the Lakers, big win as a dog against the Clippers. The Lakers are 0-7 against the spread going back to March 12th when they're coming off a win as a dog. That was kind of the initial thought that I had with going on the Toronto side of things. I don't like the fact that we're not seeing line movement. I'm going to keep my eyes on that to see if it happens to be a later spot that makes a change. Might end up being a fastened together same game parlay spot here. I was looking at Scotty Barnes.
Their starting lineup. There has to be some type of confirmation who's filling in for Jakob.
That's exactly what I was looking at when you mentioned that earlier. When you were sharing your notes for the game, I was like, yeah, I can't pull the trigger on this just yet. We're seeing absence of line movement with everybody betting on Toronto, just fading away on the Lakers, which is strange to me. But the one spot that I did like, Scotty Barnes under 8.5 rebounds, for Scotty Barnes. Since Quickly's come into the rotation, they've moved him off that point guard spot. His assists have gone up. He's getting more assists, but his rebounds off the map entirely. In fact, in his last, he hasn't gotten 8 rebounds in his last 3 games combined with this Quickly transition. So the fact that you can get his under 8.5 rebounds at plus 105, to me meant that that might be a nice little look out there. So more to come in this game, I guess, right? But you like the Anthony Davis over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'm leaning on the Raptors. I'm leaning on that Scotty Barnes side of things. But yeah, I got to see this official lineup. This is one of those ones where I just have to just do a little bit more research before I can fire it up. Jay Spinal takes his beam me up. Scotty Daddy says Barnes under 14.5 rebounds and assists. That's a nice look as well. But his assists have gone up. His assist number is definitely taken a step forward with this transition. Mike says in Washington was 7-0 but lost. Yeah, they did. That's what's going to happen when we ride the trend game a little bit. There's Perky. Perky bumps our guy. Here we go. Biggest bet of the year, Houston NCAA basketball. Get it, Perky. Get you some, my guy. Lessman says Raps won 4 of 5 in LA. Don't think they take him seriously. Mike, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a camper.
Well, I think the Lakers were taking every game seriously because with all those trade rumors and stuff, when you play for the LA Lakers, everybody's looking across their shoulder right now. It's a month until the trade deadline, and every time you look at the Lakers, they're in trade rumors for somebody. So players better step it up that isn't named LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
I totally, and that's one of the things we see one or the other. We don't really see them both at the same time, right? It's either AD or LeBron. And I think it's an AD's due spot. I like that look a lot there. I think, again, 40-20 wouldn't surprise me one bit. Wouldn't surprise me to see him get the points on his own and put up a 50 spot tonight on a Toronto team that's kind of reeling on their own. So this is just one of those spots for me with Toronto where I feel like this is that number where they cover, and sometimes they even win them outright. When it's anything larger or smaller, it seems like they're just not marked appropriately, but this 5 is that tricky spot. We saw that against Boston. We saw that with the Knicks. Then they go home and they're laying 7 and they get whooped up on. So tricky spot there for those guys. But that's going to bring us home on the NBA. Let's transition back over. Let's finish up this college basketball card because we have quite a few good looks here coming up on the slate. We've just talked about that Richmond spot for Billy with Loyola. We're going to rock the Billy second spot here. We're looking at this BYU and Baylor game. I said this on the onset of the show, Billy, not a huge college basketball card, but a lot of great competitive battles out there. And this one's not short of the action here. It opens at 2.5. We're seeing 4.5s now on Baylor, 81% of the bets, 76% of the cash on Baylor. And it's moved 2 points. Flip side of the total, we got 156.5, 81% of the bets on the over, but 66% of the bets, 66% of the cash on the under. And this number's dropped, 2 points, even 3 points in some spots from the opening. Tell us why you like this Baylor first half spot.
Yeah, from a watchability perspective, if you like watching a lot of points being put up on the board and not a lot of questionable defenses, this is definitely the game to click to watch on television. Both of these offenses ranked top 7 in the country. BYU leads the nation in 3-pointers made per game, and Baylor leads the country in 3-point shooting percentage. But when you dig a little bit deeper into this game, I like Baylor first half on the spread here. That line's probably moved a little bit as we're getting closer towards game time. Baylor is undefeated at home this year, 8-0, 1-0 in the new arena, I should say, but in conference play, but 8-0 this year at home, and they're 5-1 ATS first half in their last 6 games. This is BYU's first road game since December the 9th at Utah, which isn't even that far from BYU. And they played 5 straight home games. So when you look at their offensive numbers in KenPom, while they look great and fantastic, you also have to account for the fact that they're going to a hostile environment and they're playing on the road here. And versus Cincinnati, there is a couple of red flags. They allowed 40% from the three-point line and 43% field goal shooting, and they're out rebounded 42-32. And Baylor's all 8 of their wins at home have came by 15 points or more, and they've scored 70 points or more in all but one game this year. And in their game over the weekend against Oklahoma State, which was an overtime win, they only shot 13.3% from the three-point line, 2 for 15. So I don't think that happens again. So if they're due for some positive offensive regression here, I think that they're going to start off hot. Full game might get a little bit sweaty, but I think they're going to be up by margin at halftime.
I like to look. I see a -2, so you have some correlated movement, which is always nice to see when we're getting closer to tip-off, that the numbers, a half a point doesn't sway you. You still like the -2?
Yeah, I think they're up by at least 4 points or more by halftime.
Perky says Houston is toast, so I'm assuming it's 2-0, Perky. We know how you roll. Ron Lofton likes Duke -4.5 and the under 140.5. The Florida State game over 149.5 and BYU +4.5 in the late games. Love that, breaking down the late games for us. Lastman says, good show, young fella. Always like and enjoy good info. Always hit the like button. Absolutely, guys. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button. Let's talk about this next game on Billy's card. I believe it's a lean for our guy Billy here. We're looking at another showdown, 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got Duke and Pittsburgh battling it out there right now. And a spot that I like here, Billy, you sent this number out. And I was like, you know what? I can get behind this thing. Pittsburgh's been one of those teams that I've been trying to get on the right side of pretty much all season. We know that they had a nice little March Madness last year, nice little tournament last year. They're trying to push forward. They try to improve their defense. Here they had a Duke team coming into town, and they're getting 5 points, which is kind of interesting. Now 5.5s are out there. 57% of the bets and 78% of the cash on Pittsburgh. And then as far as the total, what's numbers bouncing around? 146s, 38% of the bets, but 86% of the cash expecting to see points in this game. Interesting that there's, I guess you get a line shot because there's 146s and 147s out there. Give us some insight on this game, Billy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this is probably like the more marquee games on the board tonight, and I just couldn't get to the window to bet Pittsburgh, but I lean Pittsburgh pretty heavily. It's Pittsburgh or pass for me. In the last 2 years, John Shire is just 3-10 ATS in true road games, and as a road favorite, he's 2-9 ATS and lost 5 of those games outright. Last year, Pitt was 3-0 straight up as a home underdog, and they have 7 days off after this game. So this is definitely a game that they have circled on their calendar. They just need to shoot better from the 3-point line. They'll win this game.
I don't understand the points. I mean, 5.5. I think 5.5. I sprinkle the money line too. Fuck Duke. I'm not enamored with what Duke's done, and and they seem like they're vulnerable. It's not the same Duke team that that we've known from. I know they're 11-3.
What we've been saying all year, right? They're a year away. Cooper Flag's coming next year.
Right. So, they're laying 14.5 at Notre Dame. They win, but they don't cover. They're laying 14 against Syracuse, but Syracuse is changing the coach and their systems around a little bit. So that's an interesting spot. That was an interesting game. I think that was the game where you were saying, we see points. We like points in that game. And then they got Queens College 106-69. Okay, good for you. They did take down Baylor 78-70, but a lot of points for a Pittsburgh team that no slouches. They kind of had a little bit of a tough spot there. They had a little stumble against UNC and Syracuse, but they rebounded. They picked it back up on the road against Louisville. I love the fact that they've got the time off here as well. I like your look there, Billy. I think that's a strong look. I think that one's going to make my card as well tonight. It's a big card already, but there's always room for one more, especially at 9:00, right? Let's go. There's plenty of time, plenty of room.
That's kind of why I put in one of those early plays, because there's some stuff that pops off tonight. A lot of these, I'm a little bit pissed about the college basketball slate. A lot of these games are all at 9:00, which is mad annoying.
I saw the same thing, and I was thinking that, like I was talking the other day to somebody about just kind of trying to bet per slot as opposed to, having a lot of, I think it was Dabby Cab I was talking to, and having a lot of action kind of in one clump and then have nothing else. I'm still going to have play. So I try to focus and break it down more. Obviously there's some things that you like more than others. But I like the late night action as well. 9:00, we get live streaming, we get cocktailing, we get all blazed up, and we have a lot of fun with it. So I want to have some action out there. And I like that action. I think that Pittsburgh spot, I can get you a +5.5 now too. So you get the extra hook in there at -110. And I like the spot. I think it's a good opportunity to get that cash. True Teller, appreciate you, my guy, True Teller. 6 to 12 East is a lot of time for me on camera. But I appreciate the sentiment. Director 97 says Duke versus Pittsburgh over 146. Jacqueline says bye, Jacqueline. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next time. True Teller says I'm done betting tennis. True Teller doesn't want to bet tennis anymore outside the top 50 players. And Wine Time says this Iowa State crowd is eating Houston alive right now. I like hearing that. I haven't seen the scores yet, but let's roll. Last game on the card for our Tuesday window here. This will do it for us, and we're looking to rebound and keep it rolling here. Purdue, Nebraska. Wow, we got a battle here. We got a top-ranked opponent, and they're going on the road again here against this Nebraska team when you look at these numbers and kind of how it breaks down, line opens up at -8.5, number one ranked team in the country, now down to 7.5s and even 7s. 51% of the bets, though, 63% of the cash on this home dog at +7.5. And, we look at the total, opens at 153. Now we're seeing some 152.5s, 152s, and 151s. 74% of the bets and 58% of the cash on the over, but we're seeing the number drop. And look, short, sweet, and to the point. I went with this Nebraska team here. Nebraska's coming off a bad spot with Wisconsin. That was a shit spot for them to be in. They got to go on the road against Wisconsin after having probably their season-defining victory against Indiana. They take Indiana down 86-70 at home. They were laying 4.5, and they double-digited their ass. Then they got to go on the road to Wisconsin, tough travel spot, with the look ahead, knowing that Purdue is on deck here and around the corner. And if you look at Purdue, yeah, they got Maryland on the road 67-53, but they beat Illinois by 5 points. They were laying 10.5s. I was not enamored by that spot there. And, when I see these teams in the Big Ten specifically, we know that it's a lot of defense that starts to win these games. When I looked at this number and started getting into it, big spot that I found, Big Ten home dogs that are in conference playoff a loss are 37-15. They're winning those games by almost 3.5 points on an average line of 5.5. So here we are, 7.5, 2 points ahead, plus a 3.5. When you look at the math there and saying that they're winning those games by 3.5, to me feels like we have a 5-point cushion. I don't think Nebraska's a live dog in this case. I do expect Purdue to win the game, but Purdue takes a tough loss on the road to Northwestern. That's not a good look for your organization. And then on the other side of things, yeah, you got a team in Nebraska takes down Indiana for a huge win. They also took down some other strong opponents.
But that game, that dude, Kaisai Tamanga, the Japanese dude, his parents came from overseas to go watch him play in that Nebraska-Indiana game, and he had like the game of his life.
Yeah. I'll give him that. But I look at kind of the style and the matchup. We know that Nebraska likes to play a defensive game. They kind of always play it. Doesn't matter what sport they play. I bet you their swimming team's a defensive swimming team would be my estimation. Purdue's a 3-point shooting team, 11th in the nation. But when you look at, I love these kind of mismatched spots or opportunities to match up, because if your 3 points aren't hot, you know how quickly that can start to become quicksand. I've said it before. You miss a 3, the other team rebounds it. They go down, they put 2 in. You come back, you try to adjust your spot a little bit to get that 3. You miss another one. You just gave up 4 points at the blink of an eye. And Nebraska, so 11th in the nation for Purdue in 3-point shooting, but Nebraska holds teams to less than 30% in terms of 3-point shooting. So kind of thought this is an interesting spot where I expect the rebound to come into play. Now, can Purdue knock the barn doors off these guys and just kick the shit out of them and bang their cheerleaders? Probably. But I think it's an opportunity here with Nebraska. I like the 7.5. I think it's more of a 3 or a 4-point game. So I think this is 2 baskets to my side and some favor that I had to run with to close the card out for me. So last game of the night, we'll see how it looks. We'll see what happens with it. Might be some live betting spots if they go on a little run. Purdue goes up 15 points. Maybe I can sneak in there and grab a little live spot as well. But I like the rebound. I like the revenge or the recovery spot off that loss as a home dog. And there's our guy Liquor Store says Miami, Ohio versus Buffalo at halftime. I don't have any bets in yet. Liquor Store, you're at the right place, my guy. We got a great show dropped out there for everybody tonight, Billy. That's going to put a bow on it for us here. We got through the card. We've covered the NHL. We've covered college basketball. We're rocking and rolling in the association. Tell everybody what you got going on, where they can find you. Give us a little breakdown here. Give us a little insight. What's going on with the MMA on Saturday? Tell us what's happening in the world of Billy Brri right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be quick because we have this storm on the northeast, and this shit's getting crazier by the second. I've seen some lights flickering. I don't know what's going to happen here soon, so I'm going to make sure everything's charged up. But you can follow me over on Instagram at Billy Brri's DFS and over on X at getting_bills. MMA's back this week. We're going through the X's and O's and making sure everything is ready to go. A little bit of time off, but best time to be is right now as a sports bettor, because January, February, and March, those are the months that get you stacked up for the spring and the summer. And we got a lot of fun things coming up, so make sure you guys stay tuned.
Shout out, Billy. Appreciate you rocking with us Tuesdays, each and every Tuesday at Last Call. Big week last week, giving us a nice card today as well, Billy. Looking forward to getting that cash, my guy, and good luck with your bets. We'll do a quick recap and we'll get everybody up out of here. Last but not least here, we've got a rundown. I'll start NHL, LA Kings, money line, New York Islanders, money line, Florida Panthers, -1. Columbus, money line, big score there. Nashville, under 6.5. Leaning Calgary Flames, and then a plus money spot with the Arizona Coyotes. In college basketball, we gave you guys a 6-pack tonight. We got Cincinnati -4, Iowa State +2.5. I like the idea of rotating that around to get those early plays in and then get the NBA in there as well. So that was a good call by Billy. Billy's on Loyola, money line, Loyola Chicago. He likes Baylor, first half -2. He's leaning to Pittsburgh +5.5. Hasn't pulled the trigger yet. And then I've dropped out Nebraska +7.5. In the NBA, Billy's got Minnesota -5. He gave us the same game parlay in the Sacramento-Detroit game, under 242. Hayes over 5.5 assists. Knox under 5.5 rebounds. Ivy over 1.5 threes. And Sabonis no to the triple-double at +902. I added Detroit +11. Close your nose and plug the bet. It's a stinky opportunity to get that cash. And then I went the other side. I'm laying 12 points with the New York Knickerbockers there, -12 for the Knicks. Dallas under 235.5 is official for my card. I lean Toronto +5. Billy likes Anthony Davis, strict close Davis, to come out there and get over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You think it's a bad matchup spot out there, and I don't disagree. So that's going to do it for the show. Again, shout out to our guy T, holding it tight, locking it down for us. Everybody in the chat, if you guys haven't done so already, please hit that thumbs up button for me. Hit the like. That's all I ask you guys to do. Well, I guess I ask you to do 3 things. Hit the like, get some paper, and share your plays. And you guys did a great job sharing your plays tonight. Lesman says Nebraska, Iowa State, Rutgers, Baylor, and Texas A&M in his pocket. DC Capper still at the casino in Battle Creek, Michigan, as the huge party continues celebrating the national champions. Michigan Wolverines romp of the Washington Huskies, Michigan 3.5, first half, 1K live. Nice job, my guy DC Capper. Congrats to you. JPZ tailed the NHL. Blue number says LFG. Justin's out there, says, great show. Thanks, Justin. We got to get that cash. It's all about stacking up and all you guys coming in here, making that cash together with us. So he says, oh, hell yeah. I fly to New York Thursday, and it's going to be sunny, JPZ says. Let's go, our guy, True Teller. Appreciate you. Sharon Fulham, Wine Time Sports, Caddy, Daddy, Perky Bumps. The crew showed up tonight. Jacqueline, Director 97, came in there. Again, you guys, we mean nothing here without you guys showing up every day, giving us your support. Becoming members. If you haven't done so already, please, we ask you $4.99 a month. Become a member of Pub Sports Radio. Helps us grow the channel, grow the brand. We got all kinds of fun things on deck, and we want to continue to grow and build. But it starts with tonight's card. It starts with this bankroll. Also, speaking of bankrolls, bankroll builders, our guy Jimmy the Bag and Troy Torrance going to break down first week of the NFL playoffs. We've got great weekend coming up. Those boys are cashing. Troy's up over 50 units in the NFL season. You don't want to miss that. 8 p.m. tonight. Same time, same place, Pub Sports Radio, 8 p.m. Tuesdays with the boys, Bankroll Builders. And you know you'll find me back here tomorrow. We'll get it going again. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's last call. It's Pub Sports Radio. Stay pumping, get cash, and good luck with your bets, baby. Let's go.